Oh shit! We are back again. What? On a Friday night? Unheard of, right? So I didn't have anything to do. Joe didn't have anything to do. So we said, hey, together, what we could do is a review. So we're going to come back and check out Maudite from Unibroue. I could have put that all together in one song, couldn't I?
You could have.
Rhymed it all out there. So we're doing a little impromptu review on Maudite from Unibroue out of Canada, who, of course, now is part of the Sapporo family. So I guess we can't really call them craft beer now, can we?
I mean, you could, but then people call you out on it, and they'll get very upset about it. So
I know. If you're going to toe the line, I guess you're going to say they're macro now, but, you know.
Better to be safe
or craft, however you want to call it, the beer's still good, and we're going to drink it. So,
yep. I mean, they call this beer Belgian style Dubbel, which is, you know, the Belgian style. Actually, they have a double style, but I've seen some places call it a dark strong. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. I always thought this was just
a Belgian double as well. So that's how I was regarding it too. So
yeah, that's what we call it. So I'll take Unibroue at their word. Yeah. Why would they lie to us?
I mean, they make it, so they should know.
That's true. I mean, come on. I haven't had this. Now, have you ever had this beer before? I haven't had it in probably.
I've not had this one before, so I'm looking forward to getting into it. I got smoke.
Yeah, I got some crazy. Oh, I still got smoke. Was not gonna show up. Wow.
Still got smoke. Still got smoke. Somebody give me Joe D on the line right now. Try to get on Joe D's show next week. I haven't been on there in a while. Yeah, always a good time. That's when I get to see Bum, who's because of his contract the only time he can be visual,
which is BS.
Yeah,
we need to get him on this show at some point. I'm using the Delirium Tremens glass with little pink elephants on it, which I always love. Fantastic.
Yeah. Sometimes I see pink elephants, but that's not usually from beer.
No, LSD.
But nice head on it. Head came out really decent.
My
finger.
My glass has like one of those etchings, so like the carbonation is going nuts from the etching in the bottom.
Oh, cool! So you got
it's not showing up great on camera, but
nice color, kind of a mahogany wood type color.
Yeah, that looks beautiful, actually.
Smells great. Smells like a Belgian, yeasty, bready. I'm not going to get into the whole dark bread, white bread. We're just going to say bready.
No, it's bready.
Because I'm like, we know how some people get into the differences between them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fruits from the lighter spectrum to the darker spectrum.
But I would definitely say it's more of a grainy type bread as well.
Yeah, I'm just getting a lot of fruits like red apple, but then like fig and caramel. It's kind of has like the best of both worlds, like the best of like a Belgian triple.
I'm getting spicy nicely off of it.
Yeah. It smells really spicy from the Belgian yeast. Like you said, bready, a little bit of like dark fruit melding with that light fruit. The spiciness from the Belgian yeast, though, is like coriander type of like, not so like a Belgian wit beer, but kind of in that realm.
Right.
But I mean, you could pretty much say any spice, and you could be like, yeah, I could see that. You know, is there cinnamon? Maybe. Is there allspice? Sure. But
I got to make my scorecard out if I'm going to rate this bad boy.
Oh, shit. I'll do that too. You do it first so I can follow suit.
Okay. So for those of you, you're familiar with it now, but the way I usually do it, 4 categories: appearance, aroma, flavor, palate. 0 to 15. Overall is 40. Put them all together, you can total up to 100, just to give people some basis of what I'm looking at. As far as the appearance itself, came out with a decent head. Head's kind of dissipated now, 8% ABV. You kind of expected the head to drop off a little bit anyway. As far as looking at the body, a nice look of the beer, that nice mahogany brown color. Not seeing it through to the other side, so it is definitely a darker feel to it, but it's got a great amount of a feel when you get it to the light. You get a little bit more of a murkiness to it, but a beer like this, you're kind of expecting that there. I'm pretty pleased with it. I would have liked the head to lace a little bit more going down the glass than it actually did. So as far as the appearance for me on this one, I'm going to actually give this one a probably stuck between a 10 and 11. I'm going to give this one a 11 out of 15.
And I just want to point out for the viewers that your beer's about a year older than mine, but look at the lacing on mine. Like it's definitely got some nice lacing. So I don't know if it's fresher, if the lacing's there.
Maybe that's it.
I'm going to go with the 12 out of 15 for the appearance. I think it's gorgeous. Can't really expect more from a Belgian double. Maybe a little bit more. Like carbonation seems crazy to me.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not crazy in the taste. I can see with the etching. But
are you seeing bubble? Well, you got the etching, so it's causing some more of the bubble action than what I have.
It's going nuts.
That I'm using.
I wish it would show up better on camera, but it is going nuts. But it's the etching.
This shit is bananas. Beat.
Settle down, Gwen Stefani. Get it under control.
When you move into the aroma, you get that nice breadiness, the maltiness you expect to get from a Belgian. Yeah. Nice spice kick in there.
Well-rounded. Like there's a lot of cohesiveness.
Yeah. Definitely the malt forwardness. Trying to think. I'm getting a little bit of a kind of a dark feel to it as far as some of the dark licorice, but not overly done, which is nice.
I'm getting like a heavy caramel toffee vibe to it.
Caramel, getting like a syrupy type feel in the aroma.
Very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting some of like almost like that candied sugar type smell coming out of it.
Yeah, it's like a Belgian candy sugar meets toffee meets confectionery sugar. Like it's not fake smelling, but it has a big sweetness to it.
Yeah, for me on that one, on the aroma, this one is actually a 13 out of 15 for me. I think it's solid. It's where it's supposed to be for the aroma.
Because I don't have a mind of my own, I'm just going to hop on your bandwagon. Yeah, 13 out of 15 works as well. That's what I was actually going to go with. It doesn't, smell perfect or anything. It smells really nice. Cheers, Rod. You're going in without cheers, and what? I mean, come on.
I'm thirsty, man. I'm starting to slip away.
I can't blame you. We don't need to cheers.
Good flavor, texture, syrupy, lays really in the tongue nicely. Really smooth or smooth.
Smooth.
Goes down easy in the back end. No harshness whatsoever. You don't lose anything from the initial to the finish. Flavor duration, about average. Not really overly hanging in there, but you still have the remnants of it around. Nice little feel to it when you think about how it sits on the palate.
See, I think this is where it's going to differ a little bit between your aged bottle and my relatively fresh one.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar in a lot of respects, but it has more that Belgian yeast is coming to the forefront, so it has a big spiciness, kind of lingers on the palate all the way to the back, and it finishes relatively dry. And that's like the driving force of the flavor is like a lot of the spiciness from the yeast. Where you mentioned it, but it was kind of like with everything else, there isn't as much sweetness in the flavor as there is more of the spiciness.
Yeah.
Still good though.
I think the texture is very nice on it though. Mm-hmm. No problem with thinness at all. I think if you look at a body,
it's like higher medium body.
A nice medium to full body on this one.
Yep.
So that kind of plays out kind of nicely.
It has a slight viscosity to it, like not quite syrupy, but almost approaching that. Like it has that nice heft behind it, which is nice. So you're drinking a bigger beer, not just because it has a bigger alcohol character to it, because it actually has a nice body and mouthfeel to it.
And you're getting that candy sweetness in there in the taste as well. Not overly carbonated at all. Carbonation is pretty much on point on my glass.
Yeah, despite the fact that the etching is going nuts over here. It's like moderate carbonation, kind of what you expect from a Belgian double.
Yeah. So for me, as far as this one, as far as flavor, as far as the smoothness you kind of would expect, as far as how this one actually kicks over, it's not something that makes it stand out in any way, but it definitely meets what it's supposed to meet. So I'm going to give this a 12 out of 15 on the flavor. I think it has a good feel from initial to finish. And it's as smooth as what you would want it to be. But again, it's not something when you look at it versus your Chimay's or you look at it versus some of your other Belgian ones where it's going to be kind of in that realm, in my opinion. But it's not that much off of it either.
Yeah, I'd probably go 12 out of 5 too. I was thinking 11, 12, but it's quite tasty. There's nothing necessarily, I don't want to say wrong with it, but there are a few things that I would like a little bit better, but 12 out of 15 seems appropriate. I think what you're drinking is a little bit of an aged bottle. I'd probably, as far as personal preference go, would want that just because it is a bit spicy. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers.
No. I don't know what else to say on that, but no. And I would say it does have a little bit of like that spice in there. I'm feeling it's kind of like more of a white peppery type feel. Is that what you're feeling in your spice?
Yeah. There's like a peppery, almost like I said, coriander type of thing to it. Like, again, I talked about earlier, I feel like you could just probably bring up like 6 different spices and say it, and people would be like, oh yeah, totally, I can see that. But white pepper is good. It has a more peppery note than anything else. I'd agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
But then as far as how it sits on the palate, again, it delivers nicely on the palate. No complaints there. Very smooth. You can easily sit back, kick back, relax with this one. Heading into some of the cooler months now, you know, it's definitely a nice one to give you a little bit of a warmness with it as well. And won't be too heavy on your tongue and palate, which I really like because, like I said, it's probably a medium to full body, but it's an 8%, but you're not getting the booziness. You're not feeling it hit you at all. And it has that nice smooth feel to it.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, 100%. So I'd give it a 13 on the palate.
I'm gonna go 14. I think it's
14.
It's near perfection. Like I think the only thing that would, for me again personally, I'm not rating this a style. You and I both don't. We don't rate a style. We rate the personal enjoyment. Just a slight less amount of carbonation. Not to say it's overcarbonated, but if it was like higher side of light carbonation, lower side of moderate carbonation, I think it would be a little bit softer and just work well because there is a lot of spiciness. So you take the spiciness and you combine it with the carbonation and it kind of might be a little bit too much. But aside from that, I really can't complain for an 8% beer. Like we talked about, medium full body, drinks exactly what I expect out of this beer. So 14 out of 15 for me on that.
And so then we get to the big number, which is going to be the overall of everything put together and how it comes together as a beer. I've been pleased with the beers I've had for Unibroue, and this follows suit along those lines. I think they do a pretty good job as a brewery. Again, some people will now say, well, they're not fully craft because they're owned by Sapporo. That's one of the things. It seems like Sapporo's not messing with them in any way. They're letting Unibroue still do their thing, and they're still putting out some good quality stuff. And I think, you know, you can't really knock them for that in that regard. I think overall, as far as how this beer does on that big 40-point weight, I would probably give this one a 35 out of the 40.
Again, I'll one up you again, making up for, I guess, personal insecurities. But I'd give it a 36, just because I think overall, based on my math in my head and this calculator app that I have over here, that puts it like the higher B, like in the B+ range for me.
Okay.
But I think 35, 36, whatever. It's all personal preference. But at the end of the day, you and I are pretty similar in our regards for the beer, but it's well made. And like most of Unibroue products, they're one of the better, I think, Belgian style producers in North America. And a lot of people will look at that and say, well, they're not a Belgian brewery. They're located in Quebec. So, but they do it proper. They're owned by Sapporo, but who cares? Because they're doing it.
So for me, I've got a total of 84 out of the 100. So solid B right in there, which I think this one actually does. Now, I would say on my behalf, it could be I'm a little more jaded just because I drink a lot of the Belgians. I try to drink more Belgians. That's kind of my favorite style. So B having it as an 84 in no way is disappointing for me. I think it's solid again. It's a matter of getting to the level where some of those other ones are.
Yeah, and adding mine up, I'm at an 87, which, like I said, just – if you do it on like a grading scale of like a public school or whatever, 87 is just into the B+ range. So high B, lower B+, however you look at it. It doesn't match. It doesn't measure up to the few Belgian style Belgian double, not even style, actual doubles from Belgium, whatever brewery you want to throw out there. But as far as like a pseudo Belgian beer, or you're trying to do it within the style, pretty damn good job, and I thoroughly do enjoy it. It's nothing mind-blowing, but for what they're going for, I think they've hit the nail on the head, so to speak.
Well, it's definitely a solid overall brewery. It does deliver. So, like I said,
as far as like a pseudo. Oh boy, we don't need to hear two Joes. One is way more than
that. They do a good job in putting everything what they could together there.
I'd agree. So, I mean, if you average it up, we're in like this 85.5 range between you and I. I mean, B, higher side of B, I think it's appropriate. I don't remember what we gave the, what was the other beer that we did, the other Unibroue? We did a couple.
We didn't do, I don't know if we did a rating on that when we did the La Fin du
No, we
Monde,
didn't.
But
I think I like La Fin du Monde a little bit more.
That was more like an A for us, I think. A little more up to the A level.
Yeah, I think, or at the very least A minus.
Yeah. But got a lot of comments out there. You want to read the comments or you want to?
No, I'm down to read them. So if Tyler, and again, he needs to tell me how to say his last name, but I think it's Mansell.
Mansell, I believe.
Mansell? Okay, we'll just go Tyler Mansell. Tyler corrects us wrong. He says, hey, friends. Hello, Tyler. Nice for you to join us again. Beer and Barbell says, I have nothing to do. Haha. Just kidding. I'm going to sleep.
Good old Justin.
Fantastic. I like it. Chris from on the 10th, hashtag pray for Joe. I hope everyone is.
Prayers. You're still getting the prayers.
Yeah. Tyler continues, he was going to buy Great Lakes Burning River Ale, but date was expired, so I passed and got the Lakefront Brewery IPA.
Nothing wrong with that.
Got to look at the dates. Don't go crazy like Greg's beer reviews.
I almost have to look at dates now. It's almost becoming like an OCD type thing for me. So
especially
they come up, need help with anything? I'm like, no, just making sure the beers aren't old.
Listen, like you can let certain styles doesn't matter, but like when you're talking about anything that has a hop forward presence to it, you have to look at the dates. You don't want to drink an IPA that's 6 months old. It's just not. Right. Especially if you're doing a review, you're kind of doing a disservice to the beer and the brewery itself because you're not reviewing it how they anticipated it to be. Bum here. Nice. See, Bum, we're going to get you out here at some point. We might have to work out like broker deal. Maybe we'll trade me for you at some point. I know Jody would love me on a show. 2 Joes.
Like a wife swap type thing.
Yeah. Rod, what the hell? But yes, that's how to be. No, swap. See how you treat me, Rod.
Beer swap.
Okay. Yeah. He says he got a, and I quote, Rod J. Deal trademark on some Maudite a few years ago. He bought a bunch of bombers for $3 each.
Oh, that's a deal. That's a hell of a deal.
That's a deal and a half. Yeah. Chris from on the 10th continues, wasn't a fan of Maudite, was okay, smooth. Here's the thing about Chris that everyone needs to know. Anything over 6%, it's the burn from it, like the alcoholic burn. So his opinion is invalid. I love Chris, but what the hell, man. Tyler says Joe with the nice wood floors. Damn, yeah, that's
a nice hardwood floors.
I'm pointing whatever. Yeah, they're all right. They're easy to clean. Mr. Angus Wangus, who has a fantastic name. He's a viewer of Chad the Albino Rhinos BDU and has been on there a few times. He says, "Go Sabres." I know he's trolling me because I'm pretty sure he's a Leafs fan. So I know what you're doing there. And then Chris continues the last couple comments. He says, "Go Seahawks," because him and I are both Seattle Seahawks fans. Rod doesn't watch the NFL because
political reasons.
Yeah, they're pieces of shit in a lot of respects. And then Chris says 84 garbage. Yeah. No, it's garbage. We're going to both trade pour this when it's over. And he says, "Ooh, the burn." Yeah. You need to train your baby palate, Chris, to accept things.
You got to train it up, man.
At some point, you'll like a 9% beer.
It's like lifting weights. You got to start off with push-ups to work yourself up to the big weights.
Yeah, you got to understand what you're doing. I mean, it's just like anything else, though. When it comes to craft beer, time is your friend. A lot of people are like, I don't like this style, but I feel like everyone likes every style at some point. You might only like one beer in the style, but you just got to find what works for you within the style. For you, it might be a little harder because it is the actual alcohol content. Yeah. But I feel like if you get a beer that's 9 or 10% and it doesn't drink like one, you might understand that like there's a beer out there at 9% that you like. But we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, that's all. That's he said Aurora Heart, Flying Monkeys. Aurora Heart was a raspberry chocolate stout from Flying Monkeys in Canada that he liked. That was a little higher. So
I wonder how Chris would have done with the 18.8.
With that Rumpkin, he probably would have died on camera, I'd imagine. 18.8 is not in his wheelhouse. That's like triple the amount that he wants to drink ABV-wise.
Chris is also playing. Chris plays on the Xbox One, but he's been playing NBA 2K18, trying to get his player trained up. It's so funny.
You both were doing it the one night.
Yeah.
At the same time.
He's running around like, get to the court. He's like, oh, yeah, I got to go over there.
Shout out to Chris. If anybody out there isn't subscribed to his channel, he is on the 10th, on Space 10th. Used to be in the basement. He's no longer in the basement. He's actually on the 10th floor of an apartment complex. So that's why he's on the 10th. He does, in his own opinion, beer reviews. He doesn't call them beer reviews. in my own opinion, which that's what beer reviews are. But he also does that, some gaming, a couple other things, some comedic videos that are really good as well. So vlogs. So check out Chris. He's a good dude. Does some good content.
Yeah, great channel. Check him out. And then speaking of some of the channels, Beers and Barbells, Justin's actually doing some stuff on his channel, kind of doing some working out type things, but he also does beer too. So
best of both worlds. Get healthy, but also then drink beer.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Have I had the Burning River Pale Ale? I think I
from Great Lakes.
Or yeah. Let me see what I have for a review on that on Untapped.
I have years ago. Tyler, have you had? I liked it, but thing about Great Lakes is a lot of their stuff are like old school. Like they do the Commodore Perry IPA, which is an English IPA. The Burning River is kind of like a more muted pale ale. But I like everything that Great Lakes does, and I specifically like Edmund Fitzgerald Porter. That is like one of my favorite porters of all time.
Yeah, you're like a Great Lakes groupie.
Now listen, they're okay. But Edmund Fitzgerald is like here's the thing about porters. Like we had the discussion the other day on the Beer Flow show about like, you know, the whole article you brought up about like everything's a pastry stout or barrel aged or whatever, and we called them stupid. Like there are really good porters to be had, and I feel like that Edmund Fitzgerald is one of the top tier regular American porters you can buy. So yeah, I mean, I'll always pimp that beer out.
Now I've had the Burning River Pale Ale, and last time I had it was back actually March of 2015. I gave it a 3 out of 5 at the time on Untapped.
Which for Rod is actually a pretty good rating. Like Rod's hard with ratings a lot of times. He doesn't go crazy.
I mean, like if you look at the 5, like 2.5 would be like average. And I look at it a way like when I was doing it back then, it was like I work in the financial world, so we have something called like a standard deviation. So if you go back to thinking of your college years, if you had economics, it's got that little curve that you look at everything, and mostly everything is in the middle section. You have your outliers on both sides. Most of your beers are right there in the middle. Well, a little bit better than that.
And that's why I try to explain for Paul from Peru is because I know how math works, even though I'm Polish and I struggle with a lot of things in life when it comes to competence. But when it comes to actual numbers, I get it. If you take a 3.5 and you double it, it's a 7 out of 10, right? I mean, that's how math works. And if you were to times it by 10 and do it at 100, it's a 70 out of 10. For me, though, I look as a 3.5 out of 5, kind of how you're doing with the standard deviation and the curves. The 3.5 out of 5 is like a B, I think. I think that's like an 83 to like an 80.
This is going to be in a certain percentile, so it would be a higher weighted than just halfway.
Because when you do it out of 100, pretty much you're doing like 50 to 100 as opposed to 0 to 100.
Right.
And people don't understand how that scale, how it matters. But like a 3.5 out of 5, I think is like a B beer. If you're looking at it from that scale, 3.75 would be a B plus, a 4 would be like an A minus, 4.25 still in an A minus. What do you get in the 4 or 5 range? A. So a 3.5 is like it's a solid beer.
If I took for instance, if I took the 84 out of 100, I gave them Maudite, and I backed it down to a 50-point scale, then you're looking at a 3.2.
Yeah.
Right. So you're looking at 3.2 out of 5, which would still be a pretty good weighting for it along those lines.
Yeah, it's like a B minus.
Yeah.
So it's not. But at the end of the day, none of this really matters because it's drink the beer and see what you think about it. They're all arbitrary numbers, and even like we were doing out of 100, it's still like what makes it 12 out of 15 for like taste or smell. It's whatever you think it is, right? But if you've never had the beer, don't go on what Rod's saying or myself. Go on what you think. Try Maudite, see what you think, because the only way you'll ever find out if you like a beer or not is if you have it. Right. It's nice to have resources. It's nice to watch beer reviews and see what other people think about it, but until you taste it, you really don't know. So
right. I mean, and that's the reason I did the one video last year talking about beer ratings, what they really meant. If you want to see it, you can actually see it on my channel if you just search beer ratings, because everybody has their different standards. Unless you know the base standard, it's not going to really help you in the application of it. If someone just says something is an 87, you have no idea why they did it that way. So that's the reason I said if I'm going to start giving scores, I'll give a base as to why I'm giving it. It's going to be based on this type of level. At least you have an idea. Well, a 15 would be a perfect score on one of those categories. So if I give a 12 or something, you know, you're not at the 15, but you could dissect a 12 and a 15. You're kind of in that percentile.
Yeah. I mean, use a little common sense, but at the end of the, I'd say at the end of the day, like for the 7th time, because I lack a good vernacular. Here's the thing. if you watch, I feel like personally, this is me speaking, but I feel it goes for everyone. If you watch the reviews from somebody, no matter what the beer, no matter who you're watching, if you come away knowing how that person feels about a beer, regardless of a arbitrary rating, then they've done their job, even though they don't get paid for it, right? They've done a good job of what they're doing. So, I mean, you should know if someone's doing a decent job, you should know how they feel about the beer, regardless of rating, when you're done watching the video. And hopefully you've done that tonight. Maybe not. Maybe we've confused everybody, but I think we've done a good job.
You had it. We switched it up on you.
Yeah, I think we've done a good job explaining this is a good beer. It doesn't match up to some of the better Belgian style doubles.
Yeah.
But for like a actual Belgian doubles, but for a Belgian style double from a brewery that's not in Belgium, I think it's a pretty good beer.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it.
Like I said, you're going to have beers that are done in different styles that aren't from those regions. I mean, people are going to try to come up with their own impression of them or their own impersonation of them. So nothing wrong with that either. But Unibroue does deliver nicely.
And you've got to take price into consideration too. I mean, a couple bucks for one of these small bottles, $2.50. I mean, I got the mixed 6-pack here for $9.99.
Yeah,
you're talking $1.67 a bottle. All day, every day, I'll buy this for $1.67 a bottle. Yeah, and a lot of Belgian beers being in the U.S., they show up there. I mean, you want to get like a Rochefort 8 or like some of the St. Bernard's App 8s and stuff like that.
Right,
they're like $4 or $5 here. They're expensive, so you might slack a little bit on the quality in comparison to those beers, but you're also paying half the price, if not even less. So all depends on I guess, what you're willing to spend and how you view the quality of this to an actual Belgian double,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely along those lines. And actually, Tyler, you were asking about Great Lakes. Next Thursday's show on Beer Flow, Great Lakes will be the featured brewer that we're going to take a look at. So if you get a chance to check that out, grab a beer, and we'll be talking Great Lakes and different beers they have there. And I need to pick up some. Right now, the only thing I have in there is the Ohio Stout, Ohio Steel Stout or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I was going to do that for a review, so I have to pick up some Great Lakes for that one too.
It gives me a great excuse to go pick up Edmund Fitzgerald, and I think I'll probably pick maybe at least another one up because I've slacked on the Great. I haven't probably had a Great Lakes beer in at least a year, and that's just because all their stuff's readily available, and they don't seem to release a lot of new stuff. So it's not like, but I'm going to pick up Edmund Fitzgerald Porter because I've had it probably 10, 15 times in my life, and I love that beer, and I haven't had it in probably a couple of years. So I'm like, I got to drink it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to pick up yet, although around this time of year, I believe is when Lake Erie Monster comes out. I thought
it was Blackout Stout.
Blackout Stout is out right now, but I thought something maybe I'm off on that one then. I thought one of them was late winter too, because I think Chill Wave was earlier this year, but I thought one of them came out in the winter, but maybe I'm wrong.
I want to say Lake Erie Monsters in late spring and Chill Waves in early spring, but I mean, I don't know. Their release schedule
is from them. So
when is the Lake Erie Monster?
Yeah, Lake Erie Monster and Chill Wave, both of them are two of my favorites. I like Blackout Stout, but I thought Blackout Stout last year was a little thinner than I wanted it to be.
Blackout Stout is good, but I think there's so many better Imperial Stouts nowadays. I've always wanted to try the barrel-aged version that they release at the brewery, but I've never had a chance. That would be something.
Bum said I wish their Ohio City Stout was available year-round. That's the one I have down in the cellar that I'm going to be doing for a review upcoming at some point here.
You're looking forward to that. I haven't tried it. I actually saw it on the shelves a couple weeks ago. So,
and if on the Facebook page for people watching, if they're interested, I think I posted it. I don't know if you remember, Joe, a couple days ago.
Yes.
Great Lakes had their release of all their upcoming 2018, so I released their calendar to let people know when they would be coming out with their beers.
Which is why I knew about the Lake Erie Monster. I'm pretty sure that's late spring, early summer, because I remember seeing it as cross. And Blackout Stout is now, and there was another one, but it wasn't a hop forward beer. I forgot what it was. Oh, the Christmas Ale. Blackout Stout and Christmas Ale. That's what they got going on. I may actually pick that up then. I'm going to pick up, I think I missed Fitzgerald Porter in the Christmas Ale. I've had that one in a while.
It's not usually a bad one to get. One time I got one of those for $29.90 a case too. I don't know if I told you that, but
you are the king of deals. Literally,
it just happened to be the right spot at the right time.
It's fantastic. I mean, I've never seen a dude that gets consistent deals like you in my life, but it's fantastic to see because at least somebody's out there getting great deals, right?
Well, I actually went there today to pick up my wife some wine. I did not buy any beer while I was there. They had a few, but they had like I don't know, some shock tops on that case, and they had some Leinenkugel, and then they had some other stuff I didn't really want to get. It's like, yeah, I was passing.
No Leinenkugels for me. Not that there's anything wrong with Leinenkugel.
Leinenkugel is not the shandy. I'm not the shandy person, but I like some of their
porter.
other ones. The vanilla Snowdrift is pretty good. That one. I'll drink that one there. I'll drink like their Big Eddie. I like that one. That's a Russian.
No, that was like their specially released, right?
Yeah. We usually get that at Beer Fest, which will be upcoming in February. 400 plus beers. It's like going to Starcade, baby.
Saturday night. I saw it Saturday afternoon. A few more comments that you already talked about. Chris is trying to get people to sub to me. Here's the reality. You can sub to me if you want. I will have a channel probably within the next month. It's going to be terrible. But if you like terrible stuff, then review them.
Wait a minute. It's only this month. Can we push it back again?
Well, I was thinking maybe since it's not, what's the point of starting at the end of this year? Maybe like early January to be smart, brand new year. But I don't know. Whatever. It's coming. Trust me, it's coming. But it's just whatever. It doesn't matter.
You're building up these own obstacles in your own mind if you're pushing it back.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Like Nike, just do it. Just do it, brother.
Do it like Nike. I like it. Tyler asked if we had the Lakefront IPA. I don't get any Lakefront stuff here.
I don't get any Lakefront either.
Okay.
But if it's an IPA, I would try it for sure.
Fuck show. Chris is still trying to get people sub to me, but he says just make sure that he has more subs than me. Pretty sure you don't have to worry about that, Chris, because you create like 45 different accounts to sub to your channel. Mr. Angus Wangus calls me the Polish rabbi. I appreciate that. I don't. Our buddy Todd from the Beer Flow Show says, "Yo, bros, cheers, cheers, Todd."
What's going on, man?
Tyler says he loves these chats. Thanks, guys. And he said he'll also be working probably next Thursday when we do Great Lakes. Well, here's the thing, Tyler. If you're working and you watch it on the replay, grab yourself a Great Lakes beer. Drink along while you're watching the replay.
If you're working, pull it up at work, grab some press. Hey, you guys should be checking this out.
Yeah, for sure. Bum, you already said about the Ohio City Stout, wishing it was year round. Todd, in response to you getting a deal, says, "Shocker." Who would have guessed? And then Bum says, "I bumped my channel start date, now coming in 2029. I think it was 2024, I believe, last time. Or no, it's 2028, I think.
Joe must have given an extension.
Yeah. Bum, you need to break your deal with Joe D and hop on our Beer Flow show one day. We'll do talent exchange. Anybody from our show for you, just for 1 week. All right, but yeah, that's it for comments. Appreciate Tyler, Beers and Barbells, Justin, Chris from On the 10th, Tyler, and Mr. Angus. It keeps on going. Bum's like, maybe I'll start my channel when I'm dead.
Yeah, I figured Todd be out clubbing tonight.
Todd clubbing? Is that a code word for golfing? I don't think Todd rolls like that. Hopefully not.
It's been a while since he went clubbing, I'm sure.
That's true. He is a millennial, though, so he probably is clubbing.
Those crazy millennials doing that ecstasy, I tell you.
Ecstasy. Sorry, Todd. This is all Rod. I've said none of this. But you can blame me and hashtag pray for Joe.
Yeah. Well, we're just kicking back, kicking beers. I guess that's the review then, right? I mean,
it's almost gone, so yes, the review is.
I think we're going to probably kick it after hours or so. If anybody wants to jump in, let us know. We'll shoot you a link.
Yeah, if you want to talk offline, it's cool. If you wanted to put it back online, I'm good for a little bit. But
I mean, we can come back on the flow online if you want and just shoot the GIP, drink some beer, take some questions, answer comments, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's your call.
It's all about you. I got Craig Mack playing right now, flavoring your ear. So
flavor in your ear. Yeah, I'll be around for a bit. I mean, it's your channel, Rod. You do what you want.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this baby up, and then we'll probably come back on for a little bit, throw a couple more beers. I'm going to go grab me a zombie dust. So,
oh my God,
that always works out well.
Yeah.
And then if anybody wants to go link, you know what we'll do tonight? We'll go open forum. So if anybody wants to get in, we'll even invite you to partake if you like to.
If anybody
cares more with this.
If anybody cares about the stupid cap that's underneath the foil, there you go. It's a U. It's fantastic.
Your cap collection.
Oh yeah, I'll put it on my beer map cap that I don't own currently, but I will own.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't. It's only for the U.S. though. There's no spaces for Canada.
All right, so we're going to shut it down, hang out, and if you want to come back, we'll be back in, as Chuck Warrior would say, 2 and 2. Peace.
Deuces.